So in previous class, we discussed about the introduction to the pulse modulation. So we know that the modulation generally classified into two types, continuous wave modulation and pulse modulation. So the continuous wave modulation is classified into amplitude modulation and angle modulation. And the angle modulation further classified into frequency modulation and phase modulation. So coming to pulse modulation, we have two different types of classifications: analog pulse modulation and digital pulse modulation. And the analog pulse modulation is classified into pulse amplitude modulation, pulse width modulation, and pulse position modulation. And the digital pulse modulation is classified into pulse code modulation and delta modulation. So what is the difference between the continuous wave modulation and analog pulse modulation? In analog pulse modulation, the carrier is the pulse train. And here the message is continuous signal, but the carrier is pulse train. Here the carrier carries the message information. Okay, so in continuous wave modulation, both the carrier and message both are in continuous in nature. Okay, so here what is the advantage compared to the continuous wave modulation? So in pulse modulation, here the transmitted power in the form of pulse. So here the transmitted power is in the pulse nature. Okay, so before going to the pulse modulation, we have to know about the sampling theorem. We have to know about the sampling theorem. So what is sampling theorem? A sampling theorem is nothing but converting a continuous wave time signal to the discrete time signal by taking the sufficient number of samples. By taking the sufficient number of samples, and by using these sufficient number of samples, you can get the original signal. You can get the original signal. So that is nothing but the sampling theorem. So means here the sampled signal contains all the information in the continuous time signal. But here the sampled signal is in discrete in nature. Discrete in nature. If you want to convert the continuous time signal to the discrete time signal or sampled signal, you should follow the sampling frequency always should be greater or equal to 2 FM. FM is nothing but the highest frequency component in the signal. Highest frequency component in the signal. Whatever the signal you want to convert, so you have to take that sampling frequency always greater than the 2 FM. 2 FM. So this sampled signal contains all the information. So you can recover the original signal. You can recover the original signal by taking these sufficient samples. Okay, so this is nothing but sampling theorem. So here we are considering a signal that is x of t. If you want to convert this continuous signal, get back to the, continuous signal to the discrete time signal. So what you have to do, you have to multiply this continuous signal with the impulse train. Here impulse train. So here impulse train is nothing but the impulses are placed at the certain intervals. Okay, so this is periodic impulse train. So here the width of the impulse is 0, but practically it is not possible. So you have to multiply these two, you will get the discrete time signal. So for the x of t, y of t is the discrete signal. Y of t is the discrete signal, or what we call it as sampled signal. And these are the spectrum representations of the original signal for x of t. This is x of omega. And if you consider fs is very much greater than 2 FM, this is the output spectrum, looks like this. Okay, see here y of t is nothing but output sampled signal, that is y of t, that is equal to the product of message. So x of t into delta of t. Delta of t is nothing but the impulse train. Impulse train. So it is periodic signal. You have to write the Fourier series expansion for this periodic signal. So you have to find these coefficients a naught, an, and bn. These are the Fourier series coefficients. So you will get like this. So finally, y of t is equal to this one. Y of t is equal to this one. And if you apply Fourier transform, you will get the spectrum of the output signal. It contains the frequencies omega, omega s plus omega s minus omega s, and means we have the two-sided spectrum. Two-sided spectrum. See here, you can observe the three cases. If Fs is greater than 2fm, or Fs is equal to 2fm, and Fs is less than 2fm, that is nothing but undersampling. You will get the aliasing effect. Means here the spectrums are overlapped. So here the adjacent spectrums are overlapped. This is called the aliasing effect. It will be occurred in the undersampling. Undersampling. Aliasing effect means the higher frequency component in the spectrum of the signal should take the identity of the lower frequency component. So because of this, you will get the aliasing effect. So you can remove this aliasing effect by by the use of anti-aliasing filters, or else you should choose Fs is greater than 2fm. And here we have three different types of samplings. That is ideal sampling or impulse sampling, and another one is natural sampling, and third one is the flat top sampling. So this impulse sampling is nothing but, here we are considering the impulse train, and the width of the impulse you should take 0, but practically it is not possible. So that's why it is called ideal sampling. And after that, that is natural sampling. So you may observe in the natural sampling, we have a switch. This switch is controlled by the control signal, and the input is x of t. You will get the sampled signal here, that is called xs of t. That is the sampled signal. See here, we are considering the control signal as the pulse train, not impulse. This is pulse train. It looks like a square wave or rectangular wave. So this is a pulse train. So in natural sampling, the amplitude of the sampled signal is varied. The amplitude of the sampled signal will be varied with respect to the amplitude of the input signal. So that is natural sampling. Means here during the interval, amplitude is not constant. During this interval, the amplitude is not constant. And another classification is flat top sampling. So this is called practical sampling also. So in the flat top sampling, during the sampled interval time, here the amplitude is constant. Here the amplitude is constant. So that is nothing but a flat top sampling. So this flat top sampling can be occurred by the use of sampled and hold circuit. Means here the first here the value is sampled, and hold that value and hold that sampled value till that interval. So here we have to use a sampled and hold circuit to get the flat top sampling. Okay, but in flat top sampling, we have an effect that is called aperture effect. Aperture effect means the high frequency spectrum. Higher frequencies, the spectrum will be attenuated. The spectrum will be attenuated, means upper portion of the message signal spectrum that will be attenuated. So that is called the aperture effect. This will be minimized by the use of a equalizer. So by use of a equalizer at the receiver end, so you will compensate this aperture effect. Aperture effect means whatever the message signal we are giving at the input, that message signal will be attenuated at the upper portion of the spectrum. Means the higher frequency components will be attenuated. So these are compensated by equalizer. So this equalizer will be used at the receiver. So these are the three types of samplings we used in these are the three types of samplings. And next one, the analog pulse modulation is classified into three types: pulse amplitude modulation, and pulse position modulation, and pulse width modulation. So pulse amplitude modulation. So how can we define pulse amplitude modulation? Here, the amplitude of the pulse carrier. So here the amplitude of the pulse carrier is varied with respect to the instantaneous amplitude of the message signal. So that is nothing but a pulse modulation. Here, whatever the carrier we are taking, so depending on that, we can classify this PAM into single polarity PAM and double polarity PAM. Double polarity PAM means here the carrier have both positive pulses and negative pulses. But in single polarity PAM, here by adding a suitable DC voltage, you will get the positive polarity PAM. So here all the pulses are positive. Here all the pulses are positive. In pulse amplitude modulation, only the amplitude of the pulse carrier will be varied, and remaining the width and positions are also constant. In this modulation, the width and positions of the pulses are constant. Only here the amplitude is varied. Only the amplitude is varied with respect to the amplitude of the message signal, but the width and position of the carrier pulse should be constant. That is nothing but pulse amplitude modulation. See here, these are the waveforms of pulse amplitude modulation. So this is the modulating signal, that is nothing but message signal, and this is the carrier pulse. So see here, only we are considering single polarity, so only positive pulses here, and these two are the output waveforms. So this is the output of natural sampling, and this is the output of flat top or sampling. So this is called natural pulse amplitude modulation. So during this pulse interval, here the amplitude of the pulse is varied. And in flat top sampling, the amplitude of the pulse remains constant during the sampling interval. During the sampling interval, so here the amplitude of the pulse remains constant in flat top sampling. So these are the waveforms of pulse amplitude modulation. So depending on the type of sampling, you can classify the PAM again into ideal sampling PAM. This is also called impulse sampling PAM, and natural sampling PAM, and also flat top pulse amplitude modulation. So depending on the type of sampling, you can classify the PAM into three types. So, but in the PAM here, the generation and detection methods are easy, but only the drawback is it requires larger bandwidth. So it requires the bandwidth that is should be greater than the highest frequency component in the modulating signal. So that is the drawback or disadvantage. So for the transmission, so it requires a large bandwidth. Okay, so for by using a PAM signal here can be produced by using natural sampling, but impulse sampling practically it is impossible. So you can produce the output by using natural sampling or flat top sampling. So if you want to produce the PAM signal using natural sampling, the sampled signal, so here, whatever the signal that will be sampled, that follow the waveform of the input signal. that follows the waveform of the input signal during that time, during that sampling time. So here in this sampling time, here the amplitude of the sampled signal will be varied. Means we have a switch in the natural sampling. That switch will be closed and open. And during the sampling time, the switch will be closed. And during remaining time, the duration between the samples, the switch will be opened. So here the output will be 0. For making the output 0, so during this intervals, the switch should be open. Okay, and during the sampling interval, the switch should be closed, and here the amplitude of the pulse carrier will be varied with respect to the amplitude of the message signal. So that is called the natural sampling. That is called natural sampling. So ఇక్కడ మీరు అబ్జర్వ్ చేసినట్లయితే ఇక్కడ ఈ పల్సెస్ మధ్యలో అవుట్పుట్ ఏమైంది, 0 అయింది. ఓకే, ఈ పల్స్ ఈ sampling interval time లో ఏమైంది, మనకి sampled output అనేది ప్రొడ్యూస్ అయింది. So finally, you can say here the AND operation between the input and the pulse carrier. So AND operation between the input and pulse carrier, you will get the natural sampling output. Natural sampling output. And in flat top sampling, we have an additional circuit that is called sampled and hold circuit. Sampled and hold circuit means during the sampling interval, so the carrier signal will be sampled and hold that value till that sampled interval, and hold that value till that sampled interval. Means here the amplitude of the pulse is constant during the sampling time. So during the sampling time, here the amplitude of the pulse will be constant. Okay, so in flat top sampling, whose amplitudes remain constant during this sampling time, and this amplitude value depends on the amplitude of the input signal at the time of sampling. So during that time, whatever the amplitude having that input signal, that amplitude will be produced at the output. But in flat top sampling, we can see the effect of aperture effect. Means the modulating signal at higher frequency spectrum, that modulating signal will be attenuated. This can be compensated by equalizers at the receiver end. And we know that the sampling time, we know that the frequency, sampled frequency always should be greater than 2 FM. So from this you can say the sampling time that always less than or equal to 1/2 FM. 1/2 FM. And always the bandwidth in PAM, the bandwidth should be greater or equal to the highest frequency component in the message signal. Always the bandwidth is greater than F maximum. Okay, so this is about pulse amplitude modulation using natural sampling and a flat top sampling. Okay, so here PAM signals are transmitted using antennas. They must be amplitude or frequency or phase modulated by high frequency carrier. Okay, so what are the drawbacks we have? We already discussed. It needs larger bandwidth. It needs larger bandwidth. And also, for example, if the message signal contains noises or interferences in the amplitude, so the modulated signal also gets affected. So these two are the drawbacks of pulse amplitude modulation. And how can you demodulate the PAM, pulse amplitude modulated signal? So you have to consider a low pass filter at the output, and before going to that, you have to consider a holding circuit. Holding circuit, we know that the pulse amplitude modulated signal in PAM, we have both low frequency components and high frequency components. So low pass filter, it allows only low frequency components, and whatever the signal, a demodulated signal we get at the output, that should be amplified by the amplifier or boosted by the amplifier to get the original signal. to get the original signal. So what is the purpose of holding circuit is here? This is the zero order holding circuit. This is the zero order holding circuit. For this circuit, PAM signal is the input. Pulse amplitude modulated signal is the input, and we have a capacitor at the output. So here, by using this holding circuit, see here the switch is closed and open, and this will be depending on the control signal. So here the switch closes after the arrival of a pulse. So we have the output is like this. Pulse amplitude modulated output, PAM output looks like this. When the pulse is arrived, the switch is closed and the capacitor is charged to that value, so maximum value. And after the end of this interval, the switch is open and the capacitor holds that value, and the capacitor hold that value during this interval. So we have the output looks like this, a staircase approximation. సో మనకి అవుట్పుట్ చూడడానికి ఎలా ఉంటుంది, మనకి స్టేర్ కేస్ లాగా ఉంటుంది. అంటే మనకి ఇక్కడ మీరు అబ్జర్వ్ చేసినట్లయితే సో ఇలా మనకి పిఏఎం అవుట్పుట్ వచ్చింది. సో మనకి ఇక్కడ యాంప్లిట్యూడ్ అనేది ఇలా వ్యారీ అవుతూ వస్తుంది. ఇది పిఏఎం అవుట్పుట్. ఎప్పుడైతే స్విచ్ స్విచ్ క్లోజ్ అయిందో అప్పుడు కెపాసిటర్ ఛార్జ్ అవుతుంది మాక్సిమం వాల్యూకి. అండ్ ఈ ఇంటర్వెల్ ఎండ్ అయ్యేటప్పుడు ఏమవుతుంది, స్విచ్ ఓపెన్ అవుతుంది అండ్ కెపాసిటర్ హోల్డ్స్ దట్ వాల్యూ. సో ఇక్కడ చూడండి జీరో అయింది, ఈ పాయింట్ వరకు కెపాసిటర్ ఏమవుతుంది, హోల్డ్ చేస్తుంది ఆ వాల్యూ. అండ్ నెక్స్ట్ మళ్ళీ ఇంకొక ఇంటర్వెల్ రాగానే మళ్ళీ కెపాసిటర్ ఆ పాయింట్ కి వస్తుంది, మళ్ళీ ఇక్కడ హోల్డ్ చేస్తుంది. సో వీ హ్యావ్ ద స్టేర్ కేస్ అప్రాక్సిమేషన్, మెట్లు దిగుతున్నట్లు ఉంటది అనమాట అవుట్పుట్. Okay, so this is the staircase approximation, and this will be smoothened by the low pass filter after that. Okay, so the holding circuit output will be smoothened by the low pass filter. Okay, so this is the demodulation of the PAM. So PAM output is given as input to the zero order holding circuit. For zero order holding circuit, we have a switch and the capacitor. The switch is closed when it will be closed when the arrival of the pulse, and it will be opened. It will be opened after the ending of this sampling interval. So the capacitor charges during the pulse time, and the capacitor holds that value when the switch is open. That is nothing but sampled and hold circuit in PAM. Okay, thank you.